Again, transportation costs, ultimately, the total transportation budget for next year is $1.5 million. It is in the final year of our contract with First Student. The contract itself, the contracted costs are up 2.5%. Basically, they, over the course of the life of it, it went up about 2.5 each year. Again, in the big picture of our transportation contract with First Student, against other companies, we saved a little over $500,000 in the 4 years. But notwithstanding the fact that it's still going to go up. The other part of the number in transportation is our fuel costs. And in the end, which this is really crazy, in the end, even though our transportation costs are going up at 2.5%, there are gas increases there, the combination total of field trips, regular transportation, special ed transportation will be down about $9,000. But that's largely due to the special ed out-of-district costs. So we don't have as many out-of-district transportation costs. So that helps to offset some of the transportation increases.
When do you have to go for a new contract?
We're in our last year, so next fall we'll start starting that process together. We have learned significantly from the bidding process we did this past time. So one of the things that we will be doing with Kevin and Kevin and the woman from Shipman and Goodwin who does a lot of the transportation contracts with them is really go through our current contract very closely and looking at those things that either did or did not work for us, in terms of some of the details. Because we had been with MJ for quite a long time prior, and it had just kind of rolled over. So going out new, we basically taken an existing contract, made some adjustments based on things we knew we needed to address, but there were some other things that we'll probably want to tighten up even further. So overall, aside from some of the transition in that first year because it was so tight, they've actually done a pretty good job for us. We haven't really been as that first year was difficult. It was a challenge, yes. But they've actually been very, they've worked with us with the biodiesel, and they've really been actually, for us locally, pretty good actually after that first year getting to know what kind of situation. Okay, moving right along, employee benefits. This is, again, we've talked about this year in and year out, the last, since I've been here, that this is an area that has been a significant concern for me in terms of how we address this. Without beating a dead horse, we've done a number of things to bring our insurance premiums in line, or at least to be more manageable. Last year we were effectively between claims and some negotiations, bring that to a zero increase. We are not anticipating that we're going to have a zero increase this year, but and currently we're being quoted that we're probably looking at around 7 or 8%, but that's a work in progress. So that's something that Kevin and Tom and myself are continuing to hammer out. The good news as far as the health insurance is that we are self-insured for dental and the prescription drugs, and given some of the funding that has been done with that program over the last several years, that we have our contingency money for that self-insurance is significantly flush enough that we can probably save up to about $100,000 there going into next year. But again, right now we're still working that with the overall health insurance. So Currently, the employee benefits, which include workman's comp, unemployment, and the health benefits and the dental and prescription, is running about 6.2 million, which is high. And it's still a big chunk, and it makes me kind of sweat when I think about it. However, the increase in our regular health insurance is looking to be, and we may be able to get this a little tighter, only about 180,000. The workman's comp is part of the problem this year because it's really, and Kevin explained it, we did our presentation, that we have not been with the town, because we do this with the town as well, that our percentage of workers' comp was backwards to the town. And so we needed, this year, we've made that adjustment so that our percentage is more accurate, which is bumping it up about 30 grand. But that's, again, we're still fine tuning, and there's, built into that is also from CASBO or from the state, a 5% increase that they're talking about right now. That is what we're looking at. So that 30,000 might be able to be reduced by about 10,000, but that's included right now. And then unemployment compensation is up about 10,000, and that really reflects the information over the last 3 years where we have underfunded that particular line item. And again, some of that is based on the fact that for two years in a row we had eliminated positions and reduced staff, and many of them were collecting unemployment. And the state and feds have extended. I'm sorry, the feds have extended unemployment compensation, as some of you know.
Yes.
Okay. And lastly, in terms of what the budget includes, is that last year we had, or previously the last 2 years, but we had held off and used it last year, the federal jobs fund money that came directly to the districts. We had $383,000. We had allocated some of it initially to keep the budget at a fairly low rate. We had allocated about $205,000 to take care of some specific things, including a new first-grade teacher. And then when the budget got reduced further and further, we applied the rest of that to salary positions. And you'll see that reflected in the Joel personnel account. So when you look at those numbers and see they're up almost $300,000, that's because we used the jobs money to do that. So in doing all of that, we've absorbed that $300,000 plus these other key things that I just gone over with you, and we're still able to keep initially on an initial blush, keep the budget under 2%, a 2% increase over last year. So let me just quickly, I kind of touched on a couple of these things going down through that. These are areas that are still in flux. The health insurance renewal, that really, we continue to work on that, and we'll actually continue to work on it after I finish my budget presentation to you. But it is something that is a moving target right now. The self-insurance on the dental and prescriptions, we really are anticipating that we should be able to reduce that portion of the health insurance line item by $100,000. Workman's comp, I've already mentioned that we hope to be able to bring that number that's in the budget right now down somewhere between $5,000 and $10,000. Utilities is a big question mark. And at this point, even though we moved the deadline for accessing the incentive for notifying us of retirement, at this point, January 3rd, we don't have any